Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Knows in his gospel, broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just a little quick response to the elder D-Mash. He did a video titled Rebuke the Spirit of Doubt Sharply. And I watched this video early this morning, popped up in my timeline. And that's the spirit because, them demons and them thoughts are like, they're cancerous, man. Okay? Like, it's like if you brothers ever made a pizza from scratch and you put just a tiny bit of leaven in it, then the whole lump becomes leavened. Like the scripture said, little leaven the whole lump. Okay? So that figment of doubt, that one inkling of doubt will fester into many doubts. Okay, and once that fester into doubts and other demons, and then eventually you're gonna be just you're gonna be a conduit for demons, man. Okay, and the elder was breaking down on how you have to rebuke that thought sharply, quick when it comes into your mind, because it's almost scary, man. Because when you think about it, these demons, when they come in your mind, it sounds like you're conscious. It sounds like you're conscious, and it sounds like you speaking to you, but it don't be you. It be those demons. Okay, that's like almost like a doppelganger, like a shapeshifter. I was it's this funny thing I was watching. Sometimes I watch these videos of like these tournaments when people play like particular games and fighting games. Like Mortal Kombat. I watch a lot of people compete and play tournaments and stuff, man. And I was watching this one video of this guy. He was going through the ladder on this game, this Mortal Kombat game, and he was fighting this Shang Tsung dude. And I was just sitting there watching it, and I was drinking a little bit. So when you drink, sometimes when Jake drink, sometimes your mind can be a little overactive. But the spirit hit me. And the spirit was like, "You see what this guy's doing, right?" And I'm looking, and it was kind of like tripping me out because I'm like, this nigga is fighting this dude, this character called Shang Tsung, and Shang Tsung is a sorcerer. He's a witch. And in my humble opinion, I believe he's probably one of the most deadliest villains in the game. And I say that because he's able to take on your image. He's able to turn into you, and he's able to mimic your every move. But you could see it was like an apparition. So this guy was fighting this dude, and the fight was going back and forth. So Shang Tsung is clearly losing this fight. But it got to the point he got so desperate to the point he started changing. The dude had Sub-Zero, all right? And this dude, Shang Tsung, he turned into damn near every character on a roster to try to defeat this dude. You know what I'm saying? Even turning, he shape-shifted into the character he had, and he started throwing his own powers at him. And I was like, that's some demonic shit. That's a real shape-shift. That's a spirit. That's a demon. And you got spirits out here like that. So I brought that to the forefront to say this: when in your mind, them demons, it almost come off as like it's you, but it's really not you. I've had my times, man. I done sat and I done thought, and these demons didn't fuck with me and say, "You really think you a man of the Lord? Huh? You ain't a man of the Lord. Huh? You gonna get scared. You scared. You gonna lose." You know what I'm saying? It be demons like that, like literally like speaking to you in your mind. But in your mind, you're like, man, why am I saying this shit? That ain't me. Because the elder made an excellent point. He said these spirits know what you've been through in the world. They know your shortcomings. They know your fears. They know where you've struggled at. They know your strengths, And they hit you in your weaknesses, man. The shit that breaks you down the most. Telling you, oh yeah, you ain't a man of the Lord. No, you ain't gonna make it. Wait till Jacob's trouble come. You gonna punk out. You gonna get afraid. Watch this. You ain't ready for it. So you gotta rebuke that shit, man. You gotta say, in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Rika, Shatan. You gotta rebuke that, man. Arashika, Shatan. You gotta rebuke that. I condemn thee in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. You have to really believe that, man. Because we all deal with that. It's like a constant channel of it's like a news channel plethora of demons is flickering off in your mind, and you got to beat that, and you have to know that it's a spirit, man. Because if you fall into it and you don't rebuke it, eventually it's gonna sow a seed of doubt. It's gonna sow a seed of fear, and before you know it, you're confronted with a situation, and you've already defeated because you've let that demon fuck with your mind, man. It weakened you, man. And this is why you have to know and you have to discern what's what. You have to discern the voices in your head, man, telling you, oh yeah, you ain't a man of the Lord. And then eventually you start to believe that shit. And then you end up falling out the truth because now you let the demons come and kick you out of there, man. Okay, this is why we always say that this battle, this war is more of a spiritual war. It's more mental than physical. Okay, it's the war for the mind. It's the spirit of it's the battle of the mind, man. Okay, so I got a couple of quick precepts here, nothing too deep. Well, they all deep, but this is get to the point. This is the book of Matthew 21, and I'm gonna start at verses 19. It says I'm gonna start at verses 19. It says, and when he saw a fig tree in the way, he came to it and found nothing thereon, but leaves only, and said unto it, let no fruit grow on in thee henceforth forever. And presently the fig tree withered away. And when his disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, how soon is the fig tree withered away? And Yahushua said it to them, verily I say unto you, if ye have faith and doubt not, ye should not only do this in which is done to the fig tree, but also if ye shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed and cast into the sea, it should be done. Okay, so he said, don't doubt. Okay, so when you have those doubt demons in your mind, you got to rebuke that shit quick. Demon telling you, yeah, man, you afraid. You got to say, man, fuck you. I ain't afraid unless you really believe you're afraid. Now, if you really believe you're afraid, then the demon done his job. It got you weak. So now you have to exercise that mindset, and you have to build that up through prayer and fasting, man. Okay, because like I said, sometimes you could just be sitting there and shit be going through your head, man, and before you know it, you didn't capitalize on rebuking it, and before you know it, now that demon sowed the seed of doubt in your spirit, man, in your heart. Now you out here fucking defenseless. And the spirit's like, yeah, we gonna get you. Then an opportunity presents itself and you get beat the fuck up, then you start to believe, damn, it plays on your psyche, man. That's why this is such an important walk, man. Okay, this is such a this walk alone is very rough, man. Because the elder even mentioned, he said a lot of times people, they don't have experience with dealing with the spirit, so they would think that it's them telling themselves that. Because like I said, when them thoughts come in your mind, it sounds like you speaking to yourself. It's like you talking to yourself, but those be spirits. And those demons, they take on a likeness of your voice. It sounds like you, talks like you, almost behaves like you. And this is the reason why I brought that example of that Shang Tsung demon. Because as he was shape-shifting, I mean, he was putting out moves left and right. But as he was shape-shifting, you can tell it was a demon. You can tell it's an apparition. Because though he wore the image of the person, but it was still a spirit where you can see the demon in it, man. I'm like, yeah. Like and anybody that knows about this game, they know what I'm talking about. Like when he was fighting, because the guy had Sub-Zero, and the computer had Shang Tsung, and he turned it to this dude called Kun Lao. Kun Lao was basically, he's a Shaolin monk. He's the one that got the bladed hat. Okay, he's like the brother of Liu Kang. And he do like this little spin move. And it's like this force field when he spins, and it brings you in and it pop you up. So as he was spinning, you could see that he turned it to Kung Lao, but it looked like a demon. You see what I'm saying? And it's that shape. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's the same thing in your mind. It comes to you in your own self. Shapeshifter, man. That's what I call it. But it says here, in all things whatsoever ye should ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive. So if you pray to the Lord for strength, in mercy and power and faith and more strength and understanding, that how Shah will give that to you. Okay, I don't see why not. Why would the Most High give you the necessary tools you need to arm yourself to fight this battle? Okay, but a lot of Jakes don't want those tools because they want an excuse to not level up because they're afraid of bettering themselves, man. They're afraid of putting themselves through the hard torment to be leveled up in this thing. And we're going to have to do that if we're going to survive what's coming. So just trust the process. Like you pray for certain things and it seems like the Most High gives you the opposite of what you pray for. But reality of it is the things he's putting on your plate, he's putting you through situations to capitalize on that prayer. So if you say, look, I pray for strength, more faith, the Lord may smite you with a fucking illness almost into death. And you be like, wait a minute, why would you give me this when I pray for that? The Lord like, well, how the hell are you going to get stronger? Or how the hell are you going to overcome this situation if you don't know how it feels to be almost overtaken by it? And that was going through my mind the whole time. Like last year, I came down with that, with some shit on some stomach issues, man, and I didn't know what the fuck what was going on. I just knew that I'm like, look, if this don't get better, I'm like, I'm out of here. There's a couple of nights, man, I was like, yeah, I'm finna go to the spirit world, because I'm just like, I've never experienced anything like that in my body. I'm like, okay, something ain't right about this. So, I was praying, I was fasting on it, and the spirit like, well, yeah, this is one thing. You pray for strength, you pray for endurance, then you have to be put through certain things that may not be favorable into your flesh, but you just believe and come out on the other side. And, came out on the other side. We're still coming out on the other side. I say it that way. We're not necessarily out of the woods, as long as we're here in Babylon. So, but it says, in all things whatsoever ye should ask in prayer, believing ye should receive. Okay. And when he was coming to the temple, the chief priests and elders of the people came unto him as he was teaching and said, by what authority dost thou these things? And it says here, and who gave thee this authority? Because we know Yahweh Shai had authority over the spirits. Okay, you see that he cursed the fig tree and it didn't grow any fruit. You see, and the Lord said, if you believe and don't doubt, you can do the same thing. So it's the same thing when them doubt demons come in your mind. You got to rebuke that shit. Demon tell you like you ain't a man of the Lord, man. You got to say, fuck you, man. Yahweh Shai rebuke you. I know I'm a man of the Most High. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. If you believe that, then them demons will go away. Or, you getting ready to get into an MMA match and the spirit telling you, demon, like, yeah, you're going to get your ass whooped. You scared. You afraid to get hit. And you start to let that doubt creep into your mind. Then eventually you're going to go out there and get fucked up because you really believe the shit that you thinking. This is why, man, like that lesson really made it make sense. I was like, wait a minute. So all the time we've been sitting here feeding to that doubt demon, telling us that we ain't shit. That's a fucking demon, man. And you got to rebuke that shit. You only as good as your thoughts. And that's the spirit, bro. That lesson was right on time because I was out with the brothers last night. And, we was drinking, watching the game and stuff like that. And we was at a table full of niggas. You know what I'm saying? It was a table right next to us full of niggas. It was niggas and witches over there. I knew. And the crazy part about it is there was one lady that came in and I recognized her from somewhere. But I'm not going to say how I recognized her, because it's not really important, but she recognized me too. But the thing of it is, I never had no dealings with this woman, but she noticed me. And I knew she noticed me. So when I noticed her, that's when she kind of looked like, oh shit, how the fuck does he know? Like, bitch, I already know you noticed me because I'm noticing you. Like, I already connected with it. I'm like, all right, I already know what this type of time is. And that whole table just gave me an eerie vibe. I mean, to the point we watching the game, they had some young, some young teenage jakes. They get up and they start kind of horse playing by our table. And the spirit, like, the reason why they're doing that is because they feel intimidated. They feel sized up by y'all. So the spirit, like, look, stay on point. Just stay in the spirit. Don't get reactive. Don't even pay attention to it because they're trying to break through the spirit because they seen that 4 powerful men right here. Stern in the spirit, and we just watching the game. Everybody, all eyes is on us as usual. We chilling. We just chilling. We got the Lord. He's protecting us, and you got a table full of niggas. And I mean, they didn't really throw no shots at us. They wasn't really like ice grilling us or mean mugging us, but they was watching us. You know what I'm saying? And that whole table just reeked of foul, Jake, dark energy, man. And then the witch bitch came over there, and I'm looking. I'm like, yeah, okay, I peeped this. So as I start looking at it, then she looked at me and she kind of smiled. She kind of had a succubus spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never met her, but I know exactly who she is, if that makes sense. And I know exactly who she is through other people. Not even having to talk to her, I just know. Spirit like, yeah, that chick know you. She thinks she know you. She's seen you before. And I'm like, I know exactly who it is. And the spirit like, yeah, just be cool. But them demons of doubt was trying to come in and kick in because, it was just like, it's 10 of these niggas, there's only 4 of y'all. What if they try to put hands on y'all? And a lot of bullshit start coming into my mind. You know what I'm saying? What if they end up trying to swing on one of us? What if this, and this? And it's not to say that those are wicked thoughts, because those are thoughts of taking precaution for bad situations, because it could have went there. But they wasn't like giving us like that type of energy, but you felt it coming from them. You know what I'm saying? If it would have went there, in the back of my mind, I'm just like, what if these niggas try something? Which is a smart thing to think. But them demons, crept in and started saying, yeah, man, they could smash y'all. They could do this and that. And I had to rebuke that shit. I'm like, man, look, we the men of the Most High. I'm like, if we got to die in this motherfucker tonight, then that's just what we got to do. You know what I'm saying? And that was that. So I just a small example, of what it was. But just the spirit, he brought this lesson out. But it says here, and Yahweh Shai answered and said it to them, I also will ask you one thing, which if you tell me, and likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things. Okay. But the point is, Yahweh Shai, he had the spirit and the power over those demons to rebuke them. And we have to do the same thing. Okay. So this is the book of Matthew 14. And I'm going to start at verses. Let's start at verses 22. And it says, and straightway Yahweh Shai constrained his disciples to get into the ship and to go before him unto the other side while he sent the multitude away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary, meaning that the storm was basically fighting against them. And it says, and in the fourth watch of the night, Yahweh Shai went unto them. Let's do this real quick. Shortly before dawn, the fourth watch. Go back, King James. New Testament. 3 o'clock in the morning. They consider it the fourth watch of the night. Okay. I thought so. But 14, and I'm going to start at verses 25. It says, and in the fourth watch of the night, Yahweh Shai went into them walking on the sea. That's crazy, man. It says, and when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit, and they cried for fear. Now, at that time of night on the sea, he must have had a glow to him because it's pitch black out there at night. Like when we was in Chicago and we was at the lakefront, man, I was telling brothers, I said, you see how vast this lake is? I said, just imagine being out there at night. I said, you can't see shit. It's like the abyss. Okay, if it wasn't for the lights of the city, it'd be like a black hole out there. That's how dark it is. You can even see it when you're driving on Lakeshore Drive at midnight. And once they dim the lights on the building, you can't see anything over the lake. I mean, you can't even see as much as a reflection because it's so dark. So just imagine how dark it was out there. And Yahweh Shai walking on the water. He must have had a glow to him, and it must have been a huge glow because they thought it was an apparition. It says here, and when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit. And they cried out for fear because they was afraid. They doubted. But straightway Yahweh Shai spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer. It is I, be not afraid. See, be not afraid. It says, and Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me to come unto thee on the water. And he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahweh Shai because he had that faith. He believed. But it says, but when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and beginning to sink. And he cried, saying, Yahweh Shai, save me. And immediately Yahweh Shai stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou little faith, what for didst thou doubt? Okay. And that's the point. He doubted. That's why he sunk. So we can't have a bit of doubt in this thing, brothers. When them demons of doubt come in your mind, you got to rebuke that shit, man. Okay. You got to rebuke that shit. You can't let it overcome you, man. Even if it sounds like yourself, you got to tell yourself, look, man, I ain't trying to hear that. Even if you somewhere don't believe that, you got to rebuke it, man. It says doubt is a mental state in which the mind remains suspended between two or more contradictory propositions. What if, right? It says, and is uncertain about them. Doubt on an emotional level is an indecision between belief and disbelief. It reads, it says, it may involve uncertainty, distrust, or lack of conviction on certain facts, actions, motives, decisions. It says doubts can result in delaying or rejecting relevant actions out of concern for mistakes or missed opportunities, man. So when them demons play on your spirit, that's what they try to do. They use things that happened to you in your past as a weakness and a sore spot to take away your ability to say, you know what, I don't think I can do that. And a lot of brothers suffer from that. We all suffer from doubt, man. Okay, we just got to have the spirit to rebuke it and to stand up against it and overcome that shit. Okay, because in Jacob's trouble, we can't waver, bro. When the Lord say go, look, it's time to do what we got to do. Hey, man, you got to believe that shit. You can't hesitate. Just do it. Only believe. The Lord said, fear not, just believe, man. All right. It says doubt, uncertainty, indecision, feeling uncertainty or lack of conviction, uncertainty. And that's basically what it goes into. Okay. So we can't have that doubt demon on us, man. We got to sincerely rebuke that shit because, hey, if you don't rebuke that spirit, it will overcome you. It will overtake you. Okay, this is why the scriptures say, Ephesians 6:12. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, yeah, these governments, these spirits, against the rulers of darkness in this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So we up against a lot of shit, man. Okay, we up against a whole lot of attacks. Like I said last night, even though them niggas at that table didn't necessarily pose a threat to us, but they were watching us, man. You know, they felt us sitting some threat coming from us because we was in our spirit. We was in the spirit, you know, but I felt nothing but dark energy coming from them. You know, that's why the spirit like, look, don't even give them eye contact. And I was watching their ass the whole night, but spirit like, don't even overly look at them too much because, you know, Jake gets ignited off that. And I'm like, well, I ain't afraid to steer these niggas up and down. But the spirit like, look, don't be stupid, priest. Like, look, nigga, it ain't about you being afraid. And that's when that demon try to sift in and say, nigga, the reason why you ain't looking at them is because you afraid of them niggas. That's what Satan was telling me that. And I'm like, man, you know, that shit'll get you pissed off. I'm like, man, it ain't like that. Like, we ready if it go down, you know. And that's Satan trying to stir up strife, man. But the spirit like, fuck all that, man. Just watch him and just enjoy yourself, you know. Because it's one thing when you around a bunch of niggas that hate themselves and you know you walk in with four confident jakes and you know y'all full of the glory of the Lord. Niggas hate that shit. But I was telling the brothers, I'm like, regardless, I'm like, we're protected. Even if they want to come against us, they can't do anything because we are literally protected. You know, and shit, that was murder she wrote. Okay. But anyway, it says, wherefore take unto you the whole arm of Yahweh so that you may be able to withstand the evil day, having done all to stand. Standing therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, and above all, taking the shield of the faith, wherewith ye should be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. See, faith overcomes doubt. Okay, in order for you to have faith, you got to believe. In order for you to have faith and to believe, the Lord have to give it to you, man. Okay, you got to pray for those things. If you need more faith, the Lord is going to give it to you, man. Just be prepared to undergo the necessary tests to get your faith built up. You know, you may pray for faith and somebody may pull a fucking gun on you. Then what? You like, oh shit, you ain't expect that, but you got to somehow, some way tap into the spirit and say, you know what, I pray for faith. Let's see what the Lord going to do. Is he going to let me get taken out, or is he going to deliver me based on, you know, what I believe in? So it's going to be situations like that. So prepare your minds, brothers. You know what I'm saying? You may have everything taken from you. You may lose your job, anything. Have faith, okay? And it says, above all, taking the shield of faith, whereby with you're able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High, praying always with all prayer and supplications in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all preservation and supplications for all saints, man. So that's the key to it, man. You know, not doubt, not wavering, just believe. Okay, and with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Lord's will you will edify.